Welcome to another episode of TGS Weeklies. This week, after a lengthy period, we bring to you some amazing content from Indian football. India has been a country with huge untapped potential in football, but perhaps among this entire country, the one region which is untapped the most has been historically the Northeast. Until 1990, to be honest, no player from the Northeast of India had represented the Indian national team. And this only speaks of a larger problem where the talent from the Northeast has not been represented well in the national scene. But now, given the recent rise of Northeast United FC, we have a huge potential which is being shown to the rest of India. So today we're going to talk about the rise of NEU FC in the ISL, and also talk about the impact of the coach Khalid. We have today an active member of Highlanders Brigade, Partha Jyoti Sinha, who are going to give his views and opinions on the amazing rise of this club. So the first question that I would like to pose is about the defense of the club. Okay, is a strong defense just an approach, or is it a priority? So first, I would like to pose this question to Partha, and then I'll move on to Rishit and Himanshu. So Partha, what do you need to say about this?
Thank you, Shankardeep, for this nice introduction.
Yeah.
I guess the defense of our squad is a priority because from before we have seen that we must have like scoring goals, but we have been lacking in the defense because in most of the matches we have seen that after maintaining a good lead, then we concede a goal and ultimately the match results to a draw or a win ultimately, but still we concede a goal. That's why I think that the strong defense is a priority.
I agree with this point because people think that our defense win leagues basically, but the scoring is much more important. But we agree to the point that Khalid's tactics are a bit conservative, but it's what he brings out of his players. So he gets the best out of his creative players as well, like Gallego or Machado. So you can say it's fair enough to say he evolves his tactics according to the players he has, because be it set pieces, be it throw-ins, they spent hours together practicing that, and they managed to pull that off because I think 30% of goals come from set pieces, which can be achieved only if a certain amount of effort is put in the training grounds. So I think Himanshu also has a point regarding, he said earlier to me this week that probably Khalid plans out his matches in a certain way so that he doesn't have to think about game management during the fixture.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree to Trishit here, because if we look at Khalid Jamil's past adventures in the I League, so he started off with Mumbai FC. I think he was basically criticized as a more defensive coach or a pragmatic coach since his Mumbai FC days. But if you look at his successive clubs that he has managed after that, you look at Aizawl FC, you look at East Bengal. Everyone knows about his fairy tale campaign with Aizawl FC in the 2017-18 season. So there, I think Aizawl FC scored 24 goals, I guess, in 18 matches, and they won almost 8 out of their 9 home games. And the next season afterwards, when he managed East Bengal managed to score 32 goals in 18 matches, and that was 8 more than the league winners Minerva Punjab. So I think it's a myth that Khalid Jamil is a defensive coach or a conservative coach. I think, as Trishita mentioned, he gets the best out of his players. Now, as you can see, this Northeast United side is based on a strong defense. The foundation is the defense, but then if you look at the forward line, he has got some nice South American flair up there with Luis Machado and Fede Gallego. And then the big gamble that we made in the January transfer window, signing Deshaun Brown. I think he's firing all cylinders. He has got that smile back on his face. He's banging in goals. So I think Khalid Jamil has completely transformed the side.
Till last season, we could say that like our club, we had huge expectations. We will always fall short of them. Okay, be it for the players or because of the management or because of any other issues. But this season, everyone is stepping up, and the core part of this rise is the players. Okay, namely Gallego and Apuya. So, Partha, just tell us how impactful they have been for us this season.
See, Gallego, he's with us since 3 seasons, and We already know how great player he is.
Yeah.
It's like attacking mindset, where to pass the ball and how to pass the ball perfectly to the player, so that he can score. But as you can see, Apuya, last season, if we say that he didn't get much chances as compared to this season, then I think I am not wrong. Seen in this season, like his maturity has proven a lot. Maybe his age is not that matured, but his like playing style is very matured, and how to control the ball, how to hold the ball, and like when to pass and whether to pass at that time or not. Like he's very matured in like giving the passes and like holding the ball, and like the overall controlling the midfield along with Kamara. I think Kamara's like his experience has helped Apuya a lot this season, due to which like his maturity has also grown a lot.
Yeah, the presence of Kamara in the midfield adds a certain flair, you can say, because he's explosive. Okay, so Apuya gets the privilege to go up, and his task is like, see, I would explain a basic thing. Khalid Jamil is known to spend hours with each individual player instead of group sessions. So he spends individual, this one-to-one meetings goes on for hours, as per Darren Caldera, who was the former BFC midfielder. Khalid would used to spend hours together on these 1v1 meetings, explaining how and where, what he expects of you, and how he wants you to play against a particular player of the opposition. So maybe what he's installing in this particular duo of Kamara and Apuya is that one of you have to make the recoveries in the opposition half in itself, and one of you have to counter press, disrupt the play. So what they're doing, when one of them is high up the pitch with Gallego pressing, the other one is beautifully he's shifting the press entirely from that side to the side where the ball is with or the opponent in the opponent's half. So this thing is very tenacious and it's very well planned. And Apuya is like excellent, man. I have seen him with the ball on off the ball, but the way he can wriggle out of tight spaces, it's pure class, because I haven't seen such a matured midfielder in recent years in the Indian Super League. Touchwood, I don't want him to lose his form, but I think he will be a big player, not only for Northeast, but also for the Indian football team.
Yeah, like if I look at Khalid Jamal's sides, it has mostly been the Indian players who have lived up to the expectations. I mean, he gets the best out of them. You look at Apuya, you look at Ashutosh Mehta, you look at VP Suhair, and even Imran Khan. Like when Gallego was injured, he came in for 2 games, scored a goal and made an assist in the second game. So I think everyone is chipping in here. So it's not just that the team is depending on the foreign players, the foreign exploits of Gallego or Machado or Deshaun Brown, but the Indian players are chipping in as well with crucial goals time and again. And talking of Apuya especially, he's someone I love to watch, because as Rishida mentioned, I don't think I have seen a midfielder of such quality at such a young age. Even Gerard knows before Khalid Jamil, he remarked about Apuya that he's one of the best young talents in the country. Now, now he's if you look at his playing style, now he's not a proper defensive midfielder, also not a proper attacking midfielder. He is a good mixture of both. When the team needs to build up attack, he is there at the base. He creates those. He plays those accurate passes in the final third. He is very good with his passing. If you look at his passing stats, I think his passing accuracy is somewhat near to 75%, and that is very good for a midfielder of his age. And then if you look at the defensive side of his game, like he has made 1.4 interceptions per 90, and he has made 2.4 tackles per 90. So that is comparatively very good. And if you look at his build, he is not that physically well built, but I think he more than makes it up with his incredible running and the amazing engine that he has got. His fitness levels, I mean, he's playing every game. He's playing 90 minutes week in, week out, and I think he's playing with the same rhythm. He has not dropped his form, and I think he's a special talent. He's one to watch out for, and I'm very happy he's got his maiden call up to the international squad.
True. The players are stepping up on an unbelievable level, but like to keep this out throughout the season is a huge task, and that is one of the threats that the title challenge the club will be facing, right? So Trishita, would you tell us about what would it mean if the players switched off now? Like how would it affect the team?
See, like that day, in the semi-final first leg, the defense switched off for just a moment when the ball was passed to over the head to Roy Krishna, and then he laid it off with his left foot to David Williams. He faked once and like slogged it past Subhashish and the defense. So I think that switching off, there are basically two things which you need to understand. One is the overall scanning of the pitch, and the other is the 1v1 situation. So the entire coaching staff spends lots of hours and the effort on making the players understand to stay on the game, focus 90 minutes, and like if required more than that. So if you lose the focus for a particular instant, these situations can be very crucial because players like Roy Krishna or Hugo Bumu, they won't leave such opportunities, and they would pounce on it if you give them a chance. So they need to stay focused in the second leg against ATK Mohun Bagan or in the final if they reach. And I suppose if Khalid Jamil can, not only Khalid Jamil, even Alison Karsintiu, the technical director, Ohad Afrat can motivate them at such a level that this is do or die for you, and you have to play for your people, your community, your fan base, for the not only for the fans back home, but for your own family back home, that you're playing football for pride, then maybe they will be at a much more higher level of concentration. This is now has reached a stage where the mental ability will be much more tested and will be much more crucial than what your physical abilities are. So I think, yes, not switching off right now is very important if Northeast United wants to win the Indian Super League.
Thank you, thank you. And another important facet of sports is communication between the players and the staff, and the communication of ideas, the execution of plans. And given that the ISL is made up of a huge number of different players from different ethnicities, different regions, we have seen this play off a huge part in previous seasons, right? So, Himanshu, my question to you is, how much will this communication gap affect the performance of the team on the pitch?
Yeah, communication is a very, very important factor, especially in defense, because in attack, when you look at the attack, I think it is somewhat dependent on the individual exploits of the player and the passing, the understanding between them. But in defense, you cannot just rely on your fullbacks or in a center backs to do their jobs alone. You have to play as a line. The defense line has to be together, has to hold the, hold their positions, and there has to be good communication between the goalkeeper and the defense line if a team is not to concede goals. Like Trishita mentioned, in the semi-final, the goal that we conceded, I think the ball that was squared off to Williams, I think Nim Dorji, he did the right thing. He knew he had to press because, the quality Roy Krishna, David Williams, these guys have, they can shoot from outside the box. You will not even get a chance to react. So I think Nim Dorji was right to press the ball. But it was the skill of David Williams. He did a body feint, he checked back. Then there should have been the center backs covering up for Nim Dorji. That communication has to be there. But then the center backs, they did not press, they did not close down the space, and he got a free shot at goal, and he took good advantage of that. So I think that communication needs to be a little better if they are to keep their clean sheet, because clean sheets are very important when you're playing such crucial games like a semi-final. You cannot concede a goal and then rely on your attacking players to give you that impetus up front. Now, definitely we scored the 94th minute equalizer in the last game, but then I think it's more important to shut down shop at the back and then go for the attack in such crucial games.
True. And another huge part of building communication is that it takes time, right? So you can't just have a new teammate and come in and understand you like intrinsically from the word get-go. So that is why retaining these core of players who perform so well for the next season is equally important. So Partha, I'd like to know your views on what are the chances that this club keeps its core of players for the next season and try to replicate this performance.
I guess given the performance of the players this season, the management should retain many of the players who have performed very well, starting from Kamara, because without him, we feel the midfield is too weak or too perforated. Then again, if we see in the attacking lineup, then we can have Machado and Gallego, and of course Brown, because he has proven since he has come during the January winter transfer window. Then I guess Apuya is also a great player. He should be also retained. these are the players actually, but in the defense, I guess if we also lose Benjamin Lambert, then it will be not a big worry for us because we can still retain Fox, and obviously Mashour is with us. Then defense is sorted, I guess.
Mm.
True.
I think I think they can change a goalkeeper. They can upgrade the goalkeeper
Exactly,
because
yeah.
Subhashi, I know he's in his prime or perhaps, but probably beyond his prime. Or I don't think his form has been of late. Like his form has dipped basically as compared to last season. So I think Gurmeet is not ready to handle the ISL extravaganza at this stage, like of a very top team. If he's ready, it's well enough. But if they can get someone like Arshdeep or maybe Shankar Roy from Hyderabad, I don't think Shankar Roy is available, but Arshdeep may be a choice.
Even Albino
Or
Gomez is also a good keeper, yeah.
yeah, Albino is
Yeah.
good. So maybe, or even from the I League, even a goalkeeper is coming up from the I League and is performing well. I think Northeast can have a look because Khalid Jamil is a very good scout, and we know he knows his Indian players. He trusts their skill sets. So I think if he finds someone, he'll definitely, if he stays, basically, he'll give it a try.
True.
Yeah, exactly. Like along with the players, I think it's important that Northeast United gives this man a contract. Khalid Jamal deserves it. I mean, now
Yeah.
because this, if you see his CV, he has achieved it all in Indian football. He has won the
Hmm.
I-League with Aizawl FC. He has managed the two big Kolkata clubs. And
Hmm.
I think it took almost 7 years for ISL to realize that an Indian coach can come good.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I think it's high time that the ISL clubs, give chances to Indian coaches. And I think Khalid Jamal is showing the way for them.
Even
True.
Alison Carson too. He has been
Yeah.
with the Meghalaya football as well for a long time. Give both of them long-term contracts, and you'll surely see the result. You don't need a foreign coaches with fancy CVs and high like demands of salary. You just need to trust your instinct sometimes, and probably this is the right time for Northeast to do so.
True. So before we wrap up, I'd like to have a conclusion statement from all of you. Is this the season, before the second leg coming up? Like, I know it's very dangerous to keep the, raise up the fans' expectations, but like, Partha, let me ask you, like, what do you think? Is this the season?
Yeah, I think like we should be able to get over 80 kmp in the second leg
Cool.
because Brown will be coming with us in the next leg, and he'll be a good attacking. He'll be a good attacker in the squad, and chances to be more to score goals. And in the defense, obviously we have our wall, who we call as the Lambert and Fox. So we don't have to worry much, I guess.
Let's hope. And Trishita?
It all comes down to the battle of nerves and better man management skills within the two coaches. So if you can hold your nerve and put your substitutions or tactics right, I think you will have a smile at the end of the day.
Yeah. Mangshu, what would you like to close with?
Yeah, of course, hopes are high because going into the second leg, tied at 1-1, I think there's a very good chance of Northeast United qualifying. And as Partha mentioned, Deshaun Brown would be coming back, so we'd have a striker up front. We'd have someone who could, who Gallego can, play those through balls. Someone who could latch onto those passes. That was something which was missing in the first leg. Someone to hold up the ball, someone to run behind the line. So I think, yeah, Northeast United have a good shout at the title this season. And even if they don't qualify, I think Khalid Jamil and his band of boys from Northeast have done enough to, show their credibility this season.
True. They've exceeded expectations by a mile. And, I just hope that the team goes, higher from this year. Next season, it's way better. The next season, even better. So with this, we'll come to the end of this episode. I'd like to thank Partha for his valuable time and his opinion, and
Thank you.
Trishita and Himanshu Vora as well. For the rest of the fans, we'll continue to bring you amazing content from Indian football and the world football as usual. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button to keep updated with our posts. And with this, we come to the end of this episode, and see you next episode. Bye.
Okay, bye.